Comedian FunnyMaine, all hyped up and ready for another college football season. I know. We got to make all these predictions. How's Bama going to do? How is Auburn going to do? Nobody knows, but we love to get on these internets and act like we do know. But I'm bringing in some help this time. My man Mike G from War Rapport. All right, these guys got an awesome Auburn page that they do on YouTube. Check them out. But I'm going to bring them on screen, and this is what we're going to do today. I'm going to predict the Auburn schedule, and my man Mike G, a big Auburn fan, he's going to predict the Bama schedule. This should be fun. This should be interesting. This should be petty. Mike G, let's get to it.
What's up, FunnyMaine? Thanks for having me on. I'm ready to talk a little Bama here and see how y'all gonna do.
I hope that you'll be fair and kind, Mike. You've got to. Like, your credibility is on the line. You know this, right?
Hey, listen, I call it like I see it, so let's get to it. Well, it looks like Alabama decided to come right out of the gate against a top 15 Miami. Listen, you guys are starting a brand new quarterback. Are they going to pull this one out? It hurts me to say it, but yeah, I think so. I'm going with Bryce Young and Bama for the win. I think this young man does pretty good in his debut.
All right. First on Auburn's schedule, y'all have the Zips of Akron. Okay, number one, I don't know what a zip is. I've seen Akron play ball over the years. I've never seen them in the college football playoff, anything like this. I'm going to consider this a tune-up game for Auburn and Coach what's y'all coach's name?
Harsin.
Right?
Yeah.
I've been having trouble remembering his name. He's new on the block. Welcome, Coach Harsin. But I'm going to go ahead and give y'all the dub for this one. I think Akron should be a warm-up game for y'all.
Appreciate that. Listen, week 2, Alabama is taking on mighty Mercer. So this will be a glorified scrimmage. I expect Bama to get the win big. Hopefully everybody gets out of that uninjured. But I'm giving Bama the win in week 2 against Mercer. I see you guys really decided to take on some world beaters there in week 2.
Wow. Oh, I'm sorry. We couldn't. Akron was booked up. We couldn't find Akron that week. So week number 2, y'all playing one of my personal favorite schools, and I just so happen to have on their school colors, not their school shirt, but their school colors. The Hornets of Alabama State University spent a lot of time on their campus, and I know y'all played them recently also. Maybe within the last 5 years, they came down to the Plains, a real short drive from Montgomery to Auburn. So they're doing this again. So I'm definitely going to give the dub to Auburn, even though Bama State has a great team. Halftime and stands, though, y'all taking the L because the mighty Marching Hornets, they're just a great band. So, yeah, for Bama State's band, not so much on the field, though.
Listen, I appreciate the generosity with you letting us go 2-0 to start our season. But listen, week 3, we got an interesting matchup here with Alabama at number 13 Florida. Now, I don't know if they'll still be number 13 when y'all play them, but this is a potential top 10 matchup. The story here is obvious. You got 2 first-year starters going up against each other. Emory Jones, Bryce Young. I think this is going to be a tough matchup for Bama, but I'm giving them the win by this much. I think this is going to be an entertaining game, and both quarterbacks do well, but I'm giving Bama the edge here.
Okay, you going opposite of Coach Spurrier because he believes that the Gators going to win that one, but I think it's going to be a great game. Now, week 3 for y'all, this is going to be a national game. I got an old school feel to it, 2, I would say, powerhouses of the 80s, but y'all going up to Happy Valley to play Penn State. That's going to get some eyeballs on it. I looked up Penn State, been following them. Now, they did not fare so well in 2020. Neither did your Tigers, so both will be trying to bounce back. But Penn State is bringing back over 90% of their offense, and they got some people coming back on defense. But it's a new offensive coordinator, so it's going to be new for them. Y'all got new coaches. I think it's going to be a very, very, very close game. But Penn State, man, with all them white pom-poms rocking, and y'all with y'all first-year head coach versus James Franklin, who came out of the SEC, no stranger to playing Auburn. I'm giving Penn State the edge by about 4 points.
Listen, I respect that pick. Happy Valley is a really tough place to go play. But you know what else is tough? Playing Southern Miss in week 4. So kudos to Nick Saban. He's a scheduling genius. He scheduled the 2 scrimmages in the first 4 weeks. So I'm obviously going to give Bama the edge here. I think 4-0 to start the season is very, very likely for the Roll Tides.
Well, we appreciate it. We got a young squad. We got to, throw some tune-ups in there, but you never want to sleep on anybody. That's the motto in Tuscaloosa. So the guys will be ready. You guys are inviting a team over from the neighboring state, Georgia State, in Atlanta, who I actually remember when they started their program with Coach Bill Curry, former Alabama coach. So they're still young. They're making some moves. They got a nice stadium over there that was a hand-me-down, but they're doing what they do with it. But I think this will be a comfortable victory for Auburn and a way for them to get back on track after leaving Happy Valley.
Listen, 3-1 to start the season is not bad in Brian Harson's first year. But in week 5, Ole Miss comes to town. Ole Miss comes to Tuscaloosa. So I'm going to shock a lot of people with my pick here, but I'm picking Lane Kiffin to sneak out the upset against his former boss in week 5. I got Ole Miss by 3 with a field goal to win it at the end of the game for the huge upset. It's an interesting pick, man. That would actually mean that would be the first time that Nick Saban would fall to one of his former assistants. So all eyes on you, brother. Bold pick for sure. Next up, y'all have to go to LSU, to Baton Rouge. This game historically is always just tough. I don't think there's an intimidation factor on either side. I think Auburn will be a little bit more warmed up, got a few games under their belt, a tough road game. LSU, we know what they're probably going to do, especially not having a great season last year, but having some top-tier recruits. It's in Baton Rouge. It's probably going to be a night game, though. I got to give the edge to LSU by about 7. I give them the edge by about 7. Listen, that's not a bad pick. We haven't won there in 2 decades, so I feel it. I think we'll pull off the win, but I respect your position. Week 6 has got, it's the SEC West, and every week is going to be a battle. You guys are playing Texas A&M on the road. This should be another top 10 matchup mid-season. I've got Alabama winning this one. I just think that Texas A&M replaces way too much. They lost almost their whole offensive line. They're starting a new quarterback. I think Jimbo's been doing a great job with that program, but I can't see him winning this one in week 6.
All right. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a tough one. And speaking of tough, it gets no tougher than the next guy. I don't know who's over y'all scheduling, but you leave Baton Rouge, you come back home, and you have to face Georgia. Your what do they call it? The oldest rivalry in the South. And these have been some nasty, low-down dog trying to bite the receiver, Hail Mary, just grinded out games over the years. But Georgia is stacked from top to bottom. And I know they put their hopes on every year, but I believe this is a year that they kind of break through the ceiling. How far will they break through before they have to run into, the powers of the SEC West? I don't know, but I'm calling the upset in this one. I think Auburn is going to pull it off at home. I think they're going to be ready. I think y'all got the defensive line to shake up the young people that make up parts of Georgia's offense and their offensive line. So I'm calling the upset, man. Give me Auburn over Georgia.
Oh man, listen, 4-2. Not bad in our head coach's first year. So I'll take that. I appreciate the generosity.
Look, just wait.
Week 7 sees Nick Saban versus Mike Leach. I cannot wait for this one. I don't like Mike Leach, and I think that he's going to take a beat down in this one. So if he hasn't already been humbled by week 7, this is the week that he's going to get humbled. I got Alabama winning this one big, probably by at least 3 touchdowns.
Wow. Okay. I'm pretty sure Brother Leach will have something to say about that, but we'll see how that one plays out for sure. Next up, y'all are welcoming. Y'all headed to Fayetteville to play the Arkansas Razorbacks, and this is where I think Auburn's season kind of gets a little tricky. I think they come off a big win for Georgia, and then they just lay an egg for some reason. Arkansas has got a few weapons returning. They're at home. They're not a team that has a lot to lose. They haven't won a lot of conference games, but I just feel like this is going to end up being some kind of 11 o'clock crazy kickoff, and then the Hogs, for some reason, just pull it off at the house with those 2 good receivers and that stunning tight end that they have up there.
Yeah, that's tough. I'm not following you on the loss to Arkansas after beating Georgia, but again, I respect everybody's opinions here. Next up, you guys got Tennessee. You're gonna win. You're gonna win by a lot. So no surprises here. I think after Happy Meal Gate, Tennessee is in bad shape. All their recruits jump ship. I don't see it. I think this is Bama big.
Yeah, it's been over a decade since Tennessee has tasted victory against us. If we were a Big Mac, then maybe they would taste it. There's a joke somewhere. I tried to get there. After Arkansas, you guys welcome Lane Kiffin and the Lane train to town. You called the upset earlier that Ole Miss will beat Bama. If that is true, then I have no reason to believe that they won't just sweep the state of Alabama as they've done in recent history. And here goes another big win for Coach Lane Kiffin and the Rebels, or the Sharks, or the Bears, whatever they'll be this year, over your Auburn Tigers.
On this Auburn defense, honestly, I don't see it. But again, as previously stated, I respect your position here. The next matchup for Bama is one where we get to see how you guys fare against LSU. Now, LSU lost a bunch of quarterbacks in the offseason. Their presumed starter got hurt in the preseason, so they're actually starting the season with the guy who finished last season in Max Johnson. How is he going to be able to do on the road at Tuscaloosa? I like Max Johnson a lot. I think that this is a closer game than most people will think that it's going to be, but I'm giving Bama the edge by less than a touchdown.
Respectable. After y'all face Ole Miss, now you got to travel to College Station to face Texas A&M, Jimbo Fisher, all those recruits who are just hungry. And based on the pieces that y'all have, if I'm being honest, based on the pieces that y'all have, I think y'all got enough talent to beat Texas A&M, but continuity is feeding into a lot of these matches that I'm grading y'all against, and the continuity comes from new coaches, new coaching staff. I just don't think it's all going to be there. I don't think the players will be just fully bought in or fully comfortable enough in the system to go on the road in the SEC to get a big win against Texas A&M. So I'm gonna go with the 12th man and gig them over Auburn.
Whew, that's rough. I'm starting to worry here about whether you're going to let us get over 500 by the end of these predictions. Listen, the next week, Bama has got New Mexico State again. The scheduling genius of Nick Saban. I don't see any surprises here. Bama big by a lot. Hopefully New Mexico State enjoys that $1 million payday or whatever it is they get paid to go down there and take a beat down.
With you on that one. So after y'all come back from College Station, y'all welcome in the Bulldogs from Starkville. Quick little drive all the way down 82 to 280. And if they're driving, I doubt they're driving. They'll probably fly. But Coach Leach and the Bulldogs are coming in. I think this is where Auburn kind of gets a little bit of their confidence back. I think they're going to win over the Bulldogs. Like you said, with that, his offense versus y'all's defense, and then we're talking a few weeks in. We're into November into this season. I think the defense will get a lot more comfortable quicker than y'all's offense. I think the game will slow down, and I think they'll be ready and they'll overpower Mississippi State at home.
I like that pick. I respect that pick. Listen, the next matchup up for Bama is Arkansas. Now, I am going to surprise a lot of people here in saying that I think this will actually be a tougher game. It's kind of a trap game before the Iron Bowl, right? So I think this will be a tougher game than most people think. I think that Sam Pittman is doing an amazing job with Arkansas. They made some steps forward last season, but I think that they give Bama a little bit of trouble. I still got Bama coming out with the win, but pulling away maybe early fourth quarter.
Okay. I can respect that. Speaking of trap games, again, I don't know who's over y'all's scheduling. Before the Iron Bowl, you guys got to travel to Columbia, South Carolina, and face the Gamecocks. They got a new coach in Shane Beamer. We all remember his dad and Beamer Ball, which was special team laden. I don't think it'll be enough, though. I think South Carolina is in a definitely rebuilding stage, licking their wounds from the last coach and the last coaching staff. I think Auburn goes up there, gets a win. It might be close early because I think they're going to be thinking ahead to Thanksgiving turkey and the Iron Bowl. But I think in the end, it's just a little too much defense. Probably a low-scoring game, but I think Auburn has enough to pull it out.
Yeah, we definitely owe them one, so I appreciate that pick, but it's the moment everybody's been waiting for. It's the Iron Bowl. Now, what do we have here? We have the SEC's most experienced returning starter versus a first-year starter in Bryce Young. I think that this is the week where all bets are off. Throughout the records, throughout everything you thought you knew about this game coming into this game. How do I feel about this one? I'm giving my Tigers the edge in this one. Hear me out. If there was any year where Auburn could pull off the upset in the Iron Bowl, I think with all the talent that Alabama lost to the draft last year, this is the year. Now, you guys got to go on the road to Auburn. Magical things happen for us when it's in our own stadium. Now, we don't win big, but we win. And a win is a win, and I'll take it anywhere I can get it. I don't care if we got to throw for 600 yards. Auburn's going to get the win in this year's Iron Bowl. It may not keep Alabama out of the playoff, but damn it, I'm giving my Tigers the win.
Well, I mean, if you're saying we're going to get our second loss of the season, then that probably will put us out of the playoffs. Now, just for history's sake, Alabama, not since 2010 have we lost more than 2 games in a season. That's just for history's sake. And historically, we have, under Nick Saban, not always fared well in Auburn. But if we are to slip up once during the season, that's usually why Alabama has not lost more than 2 games in the season for over a decade, is because Nick Saban has a thing. It's never let a loss go to waste. I think a loss for Alabama and all that talent, it usually means they get back focused. They realize that talent just won't carry them. They gotta fight. They gotta fight for 4 quarters. They gotta have chemistry. So I think we may slip up somewhere in the season. You know, we've only had 2 undefeated seasons under Coach Nick Saban out of 15. So if we do slip up, I look for the guys to bounce back with more focus like they always do. And I think going down to Auburn for these young guys is going to be a business trip. And I think Alabama will handle business.
Okay, so no surprise there in that pick. But I do think that it will be one of the better games of the season. I'm really looking forward to this year's Iron Bowl matchup.
Absolutely. Always a great game. The best rivalry in the country. I know some people like to say Ohio State, Michigan State, or USC, UCLA, but no, it's all about the Iron Bowl. It's one of those games you got to sit down, you got to watch. So this year will be no different.
Facts.
Again, want to thank my man Mike G from the War Rapport, a very good podcast and social media outlet for Auburn fans, if you guys are Auburn fans. So make sure you hit the subscribe and like for those guys. But man, hey, Mike, maybe we got to get up again, man, toward the end of the season and see how bad these predictions really were.
Yeah, we definitely got to come back and check the record at the end of the season. I think we should make a friendly wager.
I'm listening. As long as it's not money. What you got?
The person with the closest prediction to the end season result has to wear the other's jersey during the follow-up video.
Hey, that definitely works for me, man. This was a fun episode. Hopefully we'll get the link up again toward the end of the season, and you'll be wearing a beautiful crimson jersey, man. I think it's going to look so good on you. I got the houndstooth hat to match if you really... Listen. If you want to add a little sizzle, a little razzle dazzle to it.
Listen, if there is a God, you'll be in orange and blue at the end of the season eating some humble pie. So
there's definitely a God, and he loves me too much to let me suffer that way. He never forsake me like that. Hey, thank you guys so much for tuning in to Bama's versus Barners. Just a prediction on each other's season. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, watch the replay. We appreciate you guys so much for tuning in.